Hello friends, welcome you all to the session of non-constitutional bodies. So we have been seeing all the non-constitutional bodies one by one. So now in this video we will discuss about the next non-constitutional body, which is the National Investigation Agency, NIA. Okay, so first, what is the content of this video? First we will talk about the establishment of this NIA, next about the important functions performed by this NIA, and about the jurisdiction. What is the jurisdiction of this NIA? And finally there is an amendment to this, that also we discuss. So now we'll start about the establishment. So when is the year? So this NIA is formed in the year 2009. After the formation of NIA Act 2008, National Investigation Act 2008. After this act, based on this act only, this National Investigating Agency has been formed or established. So this NIA is a statutory body because it is derived from this act only. So that is one case. So what is the need for the setting of an agency called National Investigation Agency, while already you have a investigation agency called CBI? What is the dire need for an agency like NIA to be formed? The backdrop of this NIA formation is the Mumbai terror attack 2008, which is famously called the 26/11. Okay, after this Mumbai terror attack, government understood the need of an agency, especially for terrorism. Okay, and the investigation agency, the only concentration should be on terrorism. For that, an agency should be formed. That is the need of the how this NIA has been established. Because we also have another investigation agency called CBI, but this CBI is only concerned with cases mainly focusing on corruption and bribery, and also take up other matters of national importance and other state government. If state government requires, it can take other investigation also, but mainly concerned about the bribery and corruption only. But they need a separate agency for terrorism. That is the formation of NIA. So being said that, so now we have a doubt, this NIA comes under which ministry? It comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. The headquarters of NIA is in New Delhi. NIA, what is the composition? There is not a much composition, it is simple composition only. NIA has a Director General, DG. Okay. It is headed by Director General and he is prime responsible for the administration of NIA. This Director General of NIA is equivalent to DGP, Director General of Police, State Police Forces. Okay, DGP of State Police and Director General of NIA has equal power. They share the equal power, ranks, everything. So that is one important thing here. So talking about the state governments. So what about the state government's role in NIA? State governments give full cooperation. State government give full cooperation to NIA for all the offences which is listed in this act, NIA Act 2008. Okay, so state government should give all the cooperation when NIA is investigating any offence happened in the state government, which is mentioned in the NIA Act 2008. So that is about the state government. And next one thing, we understood, we got an idea that this NIA is formed to investigate on terrorism. Okay, if a terrorist activity is happening, this NIA will investigate on that, or to prevent the terrorist activity to be happened. That also is the role of NIA. So the main, when you're talking about the terrorist or terrorism activities in India, the main role or the main part of this terrorist activity is the terror funding. Okay, which is very dangerous than a terror crime. This terror funding is very, very dangerous because it takes place very easily. The illegal money comes into the economy of India, it gets mixed with the good money, and the outcome is terror activity. So this has to be stopped. So only this NIA has a special wing or a special body within itself called as the TFFC, Terror Funding and Fake Currency Cell. Terror Funding and Fake Currency Cell. Okay, this cell is a separate body within the NIA only for monitoring this terror funding activity. Okay, so NIA also does the role of the stopping the illegal terror funding via this TFFC cell. That is one important point takeaway. So that is about the establishment. So again I am saying it is established in the year 2009 after the formation of the act called NIA Act 2008. So because of this act only NIA has been derived. So NIA is a statutory body and headquarters New Delhi. It is headed by the Director General, which is equivalent. He is equivalent to the powers of DGP of a state police. That is about the establishment. Now we'll talk about the functions of NIA. Now talking about the important functions of NIA, National Investigation Agency. The first function is about the investigation and prosecution of what? Investigation and prosecution of offences. Okay. NIA has all the powers to investigate and prosecute an offence which is mentioned in the NIA Act 2008. Okay, there is a list of offences mentioned in the Act. On that list or items, your NIA has all the powers to investigate and also prosecute. That list also includes two important laws that I have to mention here. One is the Atomic Energy Act 1962 and also Prevention of Unlawful Activities Act 1967. Prevention of Unlawful Activities Act 1967. These two acts, okay, offences included in these two acts are also included in the NIA Act 2008. So under all these offences, your NIA has all the powers to investigate and prosecute. That is the first function. The second one is the other investigating agencies. As I told already, there will be other government funded and other private NGOs, investigation agencies only for terror, for terror investigation agencies. So it is a prime role of NIA to coordinate or cooperate with those agencies for the better outcome. That is the second function. And third one is the very important thing, which is the building database. Building database of all the terrorists, okay, present terrorists and past terrorists. There will be a big database. That is the important role of NIA to build a database about their profile. If you take a terrorist and what are terrorist activities they have involved, and about all the connections of that terrorist, so that they will produce a big database, and this database will be shared with any other central government agencies, and also if state government requests also, this database will be shared with them, so that it will prevent any terrorist activity to be happen. That is an important function of a database. And the last important function of NIA is to analyze any law. Analyze the laws of other foreign countries, okay, because when you talk about terrorism, it is about in relation to other countries also, okay, it is involving other countries. So it is a prime role of NIA to study the laws and policies of other countries, how they tackle terrorism, what are their laws and policies with respect to terrorism. They will always analyze and refer those laws, and if it is possible or if it is needed, then this NIA has all the role to recommend to the central government or state government concerned to make the changes here also, to reflect those laws and policies here also. That is one important function. And if central government is coming with a policy which is concerned with terrorist activities, then that has to go to NIA for any references. Okay, for that also NIA has a major role with respect to policies. So that is the whole of the functions of NIA. Other than these functions are nothing much to say, because that is in one line I can say all of the terrorist activities. The NIA's role is to prevent terrorism, and if there is any terrorist activities going on, it has all the roles to investigate and prosecute. That is one thing. Next, about the jurisdiction. So talking about the jurisdiction of NIA, NIA has all the jurisdiction. It has a concurrent jurisdiction to investigate and prosecute the offence affecting the sovereignty, security and integrity of India, and also to a state, security of state or friendly relation with other countries. It has a concurrent jurisdiction. That is the first point with respect to jurisdiction. And what are the terror attacks? I told your NIA has all the role. It has all the power and role to investigate and prosecute a offence or any terror attack. So what is this terror attacks included? Okay, as per the Act, NIA Act, it includes a certain terror attacks like hijacking of aircraft and ships, attacking nuclear installations, and bomb blast, and use of weapon of mass destruction. These are the terror attacks mentioned in the Act, NIA Act 2008. So that is about your jurisdiction. So now we will deal with the NIA Amendment Act 2019. This National Investigation Agency Act 2008 has been amended in 2019. So now we look into the amendments brought. Okay. So first amendment is extension of the jurisdiction. While talking about jurisdiction, I told there are some important items included as terror attacks. Like your hijacking of aircraft and ships, or bomb blasting, attacking nuclear installments, like that I told some terror attacks. In that they have added some more terror attacks as a jurisdiction of NIA, including like your cyber terrorism, also your human trafficking, counterfeit currencies, and manufacture or sale of weapons, which is prohibited. That are also coming under the jurisdiction of NIA now. That is the first amendment made. The second is about the special court. This amendment gives the power to central government and state government to designate a sessions court as a special court. This special court will investigate matters referred by the NIA, National Investigation Agencies. Those cases will be investigated in this special court for speed recovery. That is about the special code. And next is about the offences happening outside India. Okay, if an offence, terror related offence is happening outside India, then this amendment gives all the power to central government to tell the NIA to go and register the case. Okay, it gives all the power to central government to instruct the NIA to go and register the case as if that terror attack has happened in India. Okay, that power has been now given to the central government. That is one important amendment. And last is about the power, duties, conditions, liabilities of officers of NIA. Okay, all these officers of NIA investigating terror attack is equal. Okay, all the powers, liabilities will be equal to other officers who are investigating offences related to terror, not only inside India but also outside India. Okay, let us say there is an investigation agency in any other foreign country. Those officers, what powers, liabilities, conditions, what they are enjoying, that should be equal to this to the officers of NIA. That is also an important amendment made with respect to the NIA Act 2008. So that is whole of the national investigation agencies. So we have started from establishment. I have talked about the functions and what is the jurisdiction, what are the terror attacks included there. That is an amendment. This amendment adds some more terror attacks to the list. That also we make sure. And also about, we have talked about the amendments. What are the amendments they have changed to this NIA Act 2008. With that, I am closing this lecture. We will meet up in the next non-constitutional video.